For now, Beijing seems more interested in global conflicts. It wants to resolve them, to dictate their outcomes. And it's working with Russia in this direction. Yesterday, there was a meeting in Moscow. President Vladimir Putin met with China's defense minister. And the bonhomie was hard to miss.
Dear Comrade Minister, I am very glad to see you. You arrived in Russia after a visit to our country by our great friend, my friend, Chairman of the People's Republic of China, Comrade Xi Jinping. I want to emphasize once again that the visit was very productive.
Dear Mr. President, thank you very much for taking the time to meet with me. I know that first of all, today is a day off, and during the weekend, you found time to receive me. This is a great honor for me.
Clearly, Putin is going all out. When it comes to China, he likes to give all engagements a personal touch. But that's not what we want to focus on tonight. Tonight, we're talking about the Chinese defense minister. What is he doing in Russia? His name is Li Shangfu. He's in Moscow just after Xi Jinping's high-profile visit. And when that happened, when Xi met Putin, he made it clear whose side he was on. China is backing Russia. Xi and Putin are aligned on most issues, including their shared mistrust of the West. But the thing with Chinese support is, it never comes for free. There are always strings attached, and Beijing is already pulling them. Listen to this.
The development of China-Russian relations has a clear historical logic and strong endogenous driving force. It has surpassed the military-political alliance model of the Cold War era. It is based on the principles of no alliance, no confrontation, and not targeting any third party, and it is free from interference by any third party. We have established a new model of relationship between major countries.
So Li Shangfu is in Moscow to set the tone for defense engagements. And this is not about military drills. What China wants is Russian defense technology. It wants a no-holds-barred access to Russian wares. Neither side has shared the specifics, but there are clear telltale signs. China wants access to advanced Russian military tech, and Russia seems more than willing to share. In fact, let's go back to Xi Jinping's visit to Russia. Xi and Putin met for formal talks. There was a large Russian delegation present. This included top Russian defense officials. And these were people directly involved in Russia's weapons and space programs. The list includes Dmitry Medvedev, the deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council. He served as president of Russia for 4 years, from 2008 to 2012, because Putin could not serve a third straight term. So he kept the seat warm for his boss, and that should tell you how loyal he is to Vladimir Putin. He was also Putin's first deputy in the Military Industrial Commission. And this commission is a permanent body. It was set up to coordinate with 3 important arms of the Russian state: the Defense Ministry, the Armed Forces, and the defense industry. So Dmitry Medvedev was present in the meeting with Xi Jinping. Do you know who else was there to meet him? Sergei Shoigu, Russia's defense minister. Dmitry Shugayev, the head of the Federal Service for Military Technical Cooperation. And Yuri Borisov, the head of Russia's space agency. Before taking this job, Borisov was in charge of the Russian defense industry. He served on that post for at least a decade. And all of these officials were present in the meeting with the Chinese president. According to one report, more than half of Putin's team that was present that day was linked to Russia's defense industry. And that alone should tell you where the priorities lie. Which brings us to the next question. Why does China want Russian defense tech? Because China seems to be making a lot of weapons of its own, like drones. So why do they need help from the Russians? They need help because when it comes to certain conventional weapons, China is no match for Russia. Reports say China wants Russian defense technology for surface-to-air missiles, engines for fighter jets, submarines, and submersible drones. That's what China wants. What about Russia? What does Russia want? Among other things, it wants components to make weapons. Western sanctions have cut off Russia's access to key supplies, so China has stepped up. It is supplying a number of components to Russia. Last week, in fact, the Ukrainians made a claim. They've captured many Russian weapons, they opened them up, and they found Chinese components inside those weapons. What kind of components? Like microchips for weapons, parts for tanks, parts for drone navigation systems. Western sanctions have pushed Russia deeper into China's camp. Russia and China will make weapons together. And Ukraine could be the testing ground for this new defense partnership. And the West needs to be wary of this because the same weapons could turn up in a different battleground, like Taiwan.